Our story begins with a highborn Arugal, a well-known figure of Gilnean descent and upbringing, a noble. Arugal started off as a mage of esteem and promising talent in the kingdom of Gilneas. He was respected and liked. With this in mind and Gilneas' proximity to Dalaran, Arugal was all but ensured entrance into the order of Archmages. It was during his long time in Dalaran that he met another very talented mage who was seeking the promise of using Worgen magics to create powerful soldiers. Himself had an interest in potions and things from other dimensions. The armies of the Scourge, vile, vicious, despicable, and cunning. They had been making their way across the eastern kingdoms for some time, while Arugal was in Dalaran. The Scourge horror was ever present in Arugal's mind. The thought of mages dying, and the threat that they posed to Gilneas, his home. This must have been the catalyst for the events to soon follow. The Scourge, led by the Death Knight Arthas, sacked Dalaran. They were seeking a powerful tome, the Book of Medivh. They needed the book to summon an incredibly powerful demon, Archmage, into Azeroth. The Scourge attacked and killed many in Dalaran in search of the book, including Arugal's mage colleague, the talented potion master After the sack of Dalaran, Arugal and many other mages fled to an old Alliance keep that belonged to Baron Silverlane, his ancestral home above Pyrewood. Arugal wanted to use his magical prowess to defend his homeland from the onslaught of the Scourge. He sought the ability to destroy the Scourge and bolster the defenses of the mages of Dalaran. He knew that one man had been working on the prospect of super soldiers, and decided that it was time to use research into Worgen as the answer to the Scourge problem. It is my hope that no Dalaran wizard seeks out the Worgen, even if done in light conscience, for no pact may be struck, no secrets may be learned, no good can come from these beasts. They are best left in their world, for if found in ours and not destroyed, then our peril will be dire. The Book of It was in that moment, against his own judgment, against the wishes and pleas of his peers, that Archmage Arugal made a terrible mistake. He summoned the transdimensional Worgen into existence, a feat that would haunt Arugal for the rest of his days. Unfortunately, as powerful as the Worgen were, their wrath and ruin were not controllable by Arugal, and as efficient as they were at killing Scourge, they also ravaged and murdered the many mages and people Arugal sought to protect. Baron Silverlane, the former owner of Shadow Fang Keep, was among the victims of the Worgen's onslaught. Ultimately, destroyed by grief, regret, and contempt, Arugal began to think himself the master, or even worse, the father of the Worgen. It was in this state that the distraught Arugal became the next master of the newly named Shadow Fang Keep, and had his Worgens kill and convert the great many people in the nearby towns and areas of the local Gilnean province. It is worth mentioning that the Worgen did not kill Arugal. In fact, they protected him. Perhaps this was due to him using his own essence to embolden several of the Worgen, who had become known as the Sons of Arugal. Had Arugal, in fact, become the father of these miserable beasts? After a deal of time, the members of the Horde decided that Arugal was far too dangerous, and needed to be put down with the ravenous creatures he controlled. They ordered assassins to infiltrate his home at Shadow Fang Keep, and remove his head from his body. It is also noteworthy that a certain keeper, Belduger of the Undercity, is interested in the Book of Ur, and has his assassins retrieve it for him. It is especially noteworthy, as the same keeper is a secret member of the Twilight's Hammer, an organization hell-bent on bringing forth Armageddon into the world, unbeknownst to the assassins at the time, of course. Though the assassins were successful in alleviating the grief and torment of Arugal, it would not be long before he would need a second curative, in the form of death. And so, Arugal was resurrected as the shade of his former self by Arthas's minions, the dark fallen princes Keliseth, Theraldis, Atherin, and Velanar. He was then ordered to continue the spread of the Worgen curse and the destruction of the Grizzly Hills trapper villages, a task that Arugal's shade was most successful at. Although it would not be long before Arugal's shade would be freed from torment on his new home of Shadow Fang Tower, located on Blood Moon Isle. And now, with Arugal gone, another threat has taken up residence inside the old stone keep above Pyrewood. The new lord of Shadow Fang Keep is a traitor of both the Gilnean kingdom and the Forsaken Society, a certain Vincent Godfrey, a traitor whose only concerns are those of selfishness and duplicity. The haunting occurrences and nightmares of Shadow Fang Keep and its inhabitants will not be soon forgotten. Arugal may be gone, but his magical torment, inflicted at first with only the highest hopes and purest of intentions, have forever shaped Azeroth. And now, the cursed denizens of Gilneas seek a cure and perhaps an end to their long suffering.